Greetings everyone, welcome back to Life of Clay for another sculpting video. Kenji here, your sculptor, and this time I will be making the second snake sculpture in the episodes. I'm going to show you how to sculpt the royal ball python, Python regius. But before we begin, please consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet, and hit that notification bell icon so you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. So without wasting more time, come bring the clay on and let's give our ball python a tight embrace. First, I made a quick sketch of our ball python, and this will be my guide in positioning him. Then using a cotton twine to trace and get its length, and use it to measure the wire. And I use 1mm stainless steel wire, for it is easier to bend and position during the sculpting. I apply 2 parts epoxy to the wire and wrap it with aluminum foil to bulk it up, twisting the foil to make it dense and stick to the wire thoroughly. Then I also wrap around cotton twine to secure the foil. Then bend it to position and set it aside to cure. We can now begin sculpting, and let's start with its tail. Wrap it with a thick pointy noodle of clay, seal the seam, and smooth it out. Royal ball python is a python species native in West and Central Africa, where it lives in grassland, scrublands, and open forests. It is a non-venomous constrictor, the smallest of African pythons, growing to a maximum length of 182 cm or 72 inches and weigh up to 4 to 5 pounds. In captivity, they can live longer than 20 years. The name ball python refers to its tendency to coil into a tight ball when stressed or frightened, and this defensive behavior is typically employed in lieu of biting, which made this species easy for humans to handle. Now I roll this medium-sized ball tip tool along its belly to create a shallow groove. Time to add scale texture on it using my personalized scale texturing tools version 2.0, which I will be making a bonus tutorial right after this python sculpture. Just by rolling this tool with a very gentle force to prevent deforming the roundness of the sculpture. Royal ball python's coloration is black or dark brown with light brown blotches on the back and sides, white or cream belly with scattered black markings. Both sexes have pelvic spurs on both sides of the vent. During copulation, males tend to have a larger spurs and use them for gripping females. Sex is best determined by manual eversion of the male hemipins or inserting a probe in the cloaca to check the presence of an inverted hemipins. Mammal burrows in the wild is their favorite hiding place. They also aestivate. Males tend to display more semi-arboreal behaviors, whilst females tend towards terrestrial behaviors. Then I add those gastrostoges or ventral scales on its belly. These are the elongated scales that extend down the underside of the body from the neck to the anal scale. And after that, I add series of singular scale on both sides of each gastrostige. I also add skin folds on its inner curl to make it more realistic. And after that, we can now cure it using heat gun. Let us now proceed in sculpting its mid-body. Flatten a thick noodle of clay, apply liquid polymer clay on the connection, then cover and blend in the strip, closing the seam and smooth it out. And I slightly separate the contacted part of the tail and mid-body to fix the clay on both surfaces. Again, rolling a ball tip tool to create a shallow groove. Time for my favorite part, adding scale texture on it, in which I really enjoy the most. Then add those gastrostages. And after that, we can now cure it, again using heat gun. Let us now proceed in sculpting its forebody, and I decided to extend its length by bulking up a few more centimeters of the excess wire. And same procedure is applied. And after that, cure it again with the heat gun. Finally, we can now sculpt its head. Cut off the excess wire and bulk up the wire of its neck and head. And I use these sets of drawings of the python's head in different angles that I drawn off cam as my reference in detailing it. Cover it with clay, close the seam and smooth it out. Then trim off the excess clay and form its basic shape. Then poke shallow holes to create its eye sockets and embed these tiny pre-baked polymer balls. And shape its mouth. Then I add those scales and plates details on its head using these micro tools that I also personally made. Python's jaws aren't joined at the front by a rigid symphysis as ours are. Instead, their two lower jaws move independently of one another and joined by an elastic ligament that allows them to spread apart, enabling them to swallow a large prey. And the quadrate bone is not rigidly attached to their skull but articulates with the skull at one end and is therefore freely moving. And I add those fine scales underside its head using a single scale texturing tool. Scale texturing the rest of its neck and add those gastrostages. Then I add those holes on its face called pit organs. They contain a membrane that can detect infrared radiation from warm bodies up to 1 meter away. Then I add that fold-in line underneath its head. And I add more skin folds on some of its inner curl. You can add them during or after sculpting, either way will be just fine. Just apply liquid polymer clay so the attached piece of clay will adhere and look seamless. Lay over a plastic film on top of the added piece and using an explorer tool to create the folds. Smooth out the edges and correct the scales. Then adding its nostrils, which I almost forgot. And after that, let's do the final baking. I place it over on my sand bedding and cure it in the oven under 135 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes. And we can now start painting it. I expose its concealed belly part so it can be painted easily. I use titanium white and yellow ochre for the base color of its underside with the help of my airbrush. Then I turn it over and paint its back with a mix of coffee bean, burnt sienna, and black. Using the same paint mix we use on its underside to paint all those blotches on its back and on its sides. Then brush all those blotches on its sides with a wash of coffee bean paint. Wash of yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and coffee bean goes for those blotches on its back. Then painting those symmetrical dark spots inside those distorted alien head-shaped blotches on its sides using the same base paint we use on its back. Then a mix of burnt sienna, black and acrylic medium to outline all the blotches. And to simulate those scattered dark markings on its belly, I use a toothbrush dipped in the dark paint mix we used for those spots and do the splattering. And I added more dark markings using a fine detailed brush. And painting those holes on its face with titanium white, burnt sienna, and bright red mix. And pure black goes for his eyes. Then I apply clear resin on its eyes to make them lively and set it aside to cure. And finally, sealing the rest of it with a semi-gloss varnish. There we have it, our royal ball python is finally done. I hope you like it and enjoyed the whole process. And if you do, please click the like button and share it with our friends. And also, you can leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, along with your suggestions if you've got species that you want me to sculpt and tackle in some of our future episodes. And if you wish to see more of my exciting videos, don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell icon right next to it. You can also follow me on my other social media account, which I added their links in the description down below. Thank you again for watching, see you again next time, and may you have a great day, everyone.